This month in Finland, 350 US Marines hit the ground in Nyland Brigade for joint combat training. Historic World War-era naval mines are being hunted off the coast. Finland joins NATO's nuclear deterrence exercise for the first time, and the Defence Forces announce one of the biggest weapons modernization shifts in decades, a full transition to NATO small arms calibers. And that's just scratching the surface. Let's get into everything the Finnish Defence Forces were up to in October of 2025. Hello and welcome back to another Finnish Gear Reviews video. Today we're diving deep into what the Finnish Defence Forces have been doing throughout October of 2025. Incidents, procurements, exercises, innovation and major international cooperation. This was one of the busiest months of the year, so let's roll right in. Starting off with incident. Lohtaja smoke incident, Air Force training mishap. On the 9th of October 28th, Air Force Academy conscripts were conducting a field exercise in Lohtaja when one of their tents suddenly began to fill with smoke. 8 conscripts were asleep inside, all evacuated immediately after noticing the smoke. Several soldiers showed mild carbon monoxide symptoms, and due to caution, 4 were transported to the Central Ostrobothnia Central Hospital for further evaluation. Fortunately, all 4 returned to the exercise later that night in good health. The cause was minor but dangerous. A plastic fire starter left on top of the tent's stove melted during the night, producing smoke. The Defence Forces emphasized that stove safety is taught to every conscript before any overnight tent training, a reminder that even small mistakes can escalate in field conditions. Traffic collision in Puolanka, Kainuu Brigade. Earlier on October 28th, 2 Kainuu Brigade conscripts were injured in a head-on collision on Road 78 in Puolanka. A Defence Forces van driven by a conscript collided with a civilian passenger car. All individuals, both conscripts and the civilian, received immediate first aid and were transported to the hospital. Police are now investigating the cause of the accident. Soldiers' families have been notified and the unit has made counseling available to affected conscripts. Grenade accident in Pahkajärvi, Karelia Brigade. On October 18th, a conscript from the Karelia Brigade was injured during a hand grenade training exercise at the Pahkajärvi training area. The accident occurred when the grenade's pull igniter, or kahvasytytin, unexpectedly activated in the soldier's hand while he was at the firing position. The blast caused injuries to the upper limbs and the soldier received immediate aid before being transferred to the hospital. This happened during the Kymi Jäger Battalion's special training phase, which includes live fire exercises. The family of the conscript has been informed and an investigation into the malfunction or mishandling is underway. Moving on to procurement. The Nordic Joint Drone Procurement Initiative. In one of the biggest cooperative steps of the year, Finland, Sweden, Norway and Denmark signed a formal arrangement to jointly procure unmanned aerial systems, drones, robotics and related tech. The goals include creating a unified Nordic drone capability, reducing national costs, improving interoperability for cross-border operations, boosting domestic and regional defense industry production, and supporting Ukraine with shared Nordic systems and expertise. The agreement also expands into R&D, joint training, and information sharing. Separate purchases of micro and mini-class drones will begin through NATO procurement and Danish framework contract. This marks a turning point for Nordic unmanned capabilities. Major military mobility infrastructure investments. The Finnish government approved key funding for logistics and mobility infrastructure projects tied directly to NATO operations. These improvements will strengthen Finland's ability to host and move allied troops, ensure rapid reinforcement in crisis scenarios, upgrade transport networks crucial for defense, support national industry, road building and employment. The decisions were made during the supplementary budget review on October 10th, and final project plans will be locked in during the 2026 budgeting cycle. Finland leads naval mine cooperation. 10 Baltic region nation-states signed a framework agreement that deepens cooperation in naval mine warfare. Finland was selected as lead nation thanks to its world-class mining expertise and history of operational excellence. Key elements: shared mine development, logistics and maintenance cooperation, joint training and doctrine, collective weapons development, joint procurement of the Finnish Blacker bottom mine, produced by Forces. This significantly elevates Finland's leadership role in the Baltic Sea defense. Finland shifts to NATO small arms calibers, one of the biggest modernization announcements in a year. Finland is transitioning its future small arms to NATO-standard calibers. The new standard assault rifle caliber will be 5.56 by 45 mm, and which is replacing the 7.62 by 39. Heavier calibers, the 7.62 by 53R and 12.7 by 108 remain in use, but will no longer receive new weapons acquisition. New unit level heavy calibers will include the 7.62 by 51 and 12.7 by 99 or 50 BMG. The pistol caliber will remain as the 9 by 19 mm. Why does this matter? It's going to be a up to 3.5 kilo reduction in soldiers' load, easier to shoot due to lower recoil, it's faster, more accurate aimed fire, flatter trajectory out to 200 meters, better availability from Western producers, and stronger interoperability with NATO. The assault rifle model itself will be announced later. Moving on to export, the CAVS multinational project office opens in Tampere, a major milestone in Finnish-led defense cooperation. The new CAVS program office opened inside the Defence Forces Logistics Command in Tampere. The office will host staff from Finland, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, and Latvia, all working under a unified management structure for the 6x6 CAVS armored vehicle program. Now, what will the office do? It will lead the program-wide development, coordinate multinational procurement, oversee long-term support and maintenance, manage new vehicle variant development, and ensure aligned standards across all participant nations. CAVS is funded in part by the EU's EUDERPA initiative, which awarded 60 million to support joint contracting, development of new variants, production scaling, and cooperation between defense industries. Patria continues to deliver multiple variants of the 6x6, including troop carriers, command vehicles, and Nemo mortar carriers. Finland will receive 161 XA300 vehicles by 2026. Moving on to innovation news. Nature restoration for defense. A new joint working group from the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of the Environment launched a study on how natural terrain can support defense. The idea is to use restored bogs, wetlands, and storm-damaged forests as natural movement obstacles, especially in eastern Finland. Restoration of these could slow enemy mechanized movement, increase defensive depth, improve concealment opportunities, and boost diversity and environmental recovery. It also supports EU's restoration goals, strengthens local recreation, hunting, and fishing. The pilot project will begin on state-owned borderlands and Defence Forces training area. Finnish Defence Forces accelerate AI adoption. The FDF unveiled a new data and AI strategy involving deep cooperation with Finnish AI companies, especially Nest AI, which focuses on autonomous drones, robotic systems, sensor fusion, command and control AI, and next-gen unmanned ground and air systems. General Jaakkola emphasized that Finland must remain competitive in military AI and Europe must maintain sovereign AI capability. The FDF is also creating its own AI center scheduled to open early 2026. In exercises news, Steadfast Noon NATO nuclear deterrence exercise. Finland participated with FA-18 Hornets and staff officers. This is part of NATO's routine annual deterrence training. Some key notes about this training: no live nuclear weapons are used. Finland takes part in nuclear policy planning. It reinforces alliance credibility and cohesion, and it ensures Finnish crews understand NATO nuclear procedures. This marks Finland's alignment with full-spectrum NATO deterrence capability. Canadian-Finnish Hornet training. Canadian Hornets flew from Ämari Air Base in Estonia and trained heavily inside Finnish airspace. The combined training included 2 daily sorties, aerial refueling with a CC-130HT Hercules tanker, multi-aircraft coordinated missions, interoperability drills over North Savo. Canada also trained in Finland the week prior, making this a recurring cooperation pattern aligned with ongoing JEF and UK-led exercises in Europe. Army early winter exercises, 15,000 personnel participated. This is one of Finland's biggest annual readiness events. Lively Sentry 25 in southern Finland had over 6,500 soldiers. Urban Jaeger and mechanized battle group operations over 900 military vehicles, multi-unit coordination across Uusimaa, Kymenlaakso and Päijät-Häme, full combined arms operation. Northern X-25 in Vuosanka had 3,000 troops, 70 British soldiers participating. It's the first time a regional company performs a pure combat mission in a brigade-level fight. Northern Spike 25 Rovajärvi, anti-tank missile training to standardize education across the entire army. Northern Strike 25 in Rovajärvi had 2,200 troops with Polish participation. Whole artillery and fire support system integration. We had Lapland Steel 25 in Rovajärvi, had harsh winter joint operations, Swedish and British units included. It tests the interoperability in Arctic conditions. ADEX Mallet Strike 25 for the air defense had 1,000 air defense personnel with UK and Swedish units involved. Live fire, air defense scenarios, and heavy electronic warfare usage. Collectively, these exercises validate Finland's wartime readiness and deepen allied cooperation at all levels, tactical, operational, and strategic. We also had the Steadfast Jewel 25. It's a Article 5 NATO headquarters exercise. Finland participated for the first time as a NATO member. This massive computer-assisted HQ exercise included all 32 NATO member nations, NATO's 3 operational HQs in Brønsum, Naples and Norfolk, full Article 5 collected defense scenarios, large-scale crisis simulation, and this strengthens Finland's integration into NATO's command structure and regional defense planning. In cooperation news, Finland expands NSATU support for Ukraine. Finland will increase its personnel contribution to NATO's Ukraine mission from 5 to up to 15 soldiers. These soldiers will serve in staff roles, logistics coordination, training support, allied support planning, and they will be stationed at NATO headquarters in Germany and other bases. NSATU oversees Ally-provided equipment, maintenance, training, and the long-term modernization of Ukraine's armed forces. Italy joins Forward Land Forces in Finland. Italy officially committed to joining NATO's FLF Finland, adding a major southern European power to the unit. Other contributors include Sweden as a framework nation, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, France, and the United Kingdom. These forces train with Finland in peacetime and can scale up to brigade strength if needed. Finland sends its 30th aid package to Ukraine. A 52 million euro package, mostly new orders placed with Finnish defense companies, was approved on October 17th. Finland's total military aid to Ukraine now reaches 2.9 billion euros, making Finland one of the most supportive nations per capita. The package contents are classified for operational security. NATO mine clearance in the Gulf of Finland. NATO is clearing World War I and World War II era naval mines of Hanko and Porkkala as part of Baltic Sentry, which focuses on protecting underwater infrastructure. Finland's mine hunter Katanpää is participating alongside ships from Latvia, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The mines no longer pose a threat to shipping, but clearing them is excellent real-world training and strengthens NATO's surveillance of cables and pipelines. 350 US Marines arrive in Nyland Brigade. The US Marine Corps' 6th Combat Logistics Battalion is in Finland until the end of the year. The training will include medical combat care, convoy operations, EOD training, archipelago boat handling, and CBRN tasks during Freezing Winds 25. This is one of the strongest US-Finnish training deployments to date. Property purchase denials for national security. Finland has blocked 11 real estate purchases by non-EU EEA citizens due to security concerns. Buyers were from Russia, Israel, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. The properties were located across Finland, including border regions. This is part of Finland's hybrid threat countermeasures alongside the ban on Russian and Belarusian buyers. In miscellaneous news, the Commander-in-Chief's fitness program, President Stubb's fitness campaign, continues to grow nationwide. Mars app downloads hit their second highest spike ever after the campaign launch. Users logged 11% more workouts year over year, and future conscripts reported feeling significantly more prepared for service. And that wraps up the October 2025 Finnish Defence Forces SITREP. If you want more Finnish military news, tactical breakdowns, or gear reviews, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me which story you thought was the biggest headline this month. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next month.